Alrighty. On August 12, 2017, a state of emergency was declared for the state of Virginia. Thousands of white nationalists and counter-protesters created a huge brawl over the removal of Confederate monuments across the South. Racial tensions began to develop after the removal of Robert E. Lee's statue. White nationalists wanted to prove that many of them still existed and that no statue should be removed.
Therefore, individuals involved in the white supremacy group and those who identified themselves as counter-protesters were participating directly in the conflict. However, we also feel the media played an indirect role in this conflict as well. With the live news coverage of the events happening in Charlottesville, it not only added more aggression as individuals from both parties tried to even harder to overpower one another, it ultimately led to unnecessary violence.
The events that occurred in Charlottesville stirred much controversy and, as a result, awakened ethical issues that only worsened as the passed. These unethical actions from both parties provide an excellent example of human behaviors that arise whenever there is a significant impact on another person, in this case, white supremacy. These ethical issues present the belief of a fallacy that two wrongs don't make a right. Even with feeling justified and vindicated, both parties neglected the use of non-judgmentalism to make understanding and
Despite the tragic events that happened in Charlottesville, both members of the white supremacist and counter-protester groups were ethically responsible for contributing to the racial tension. While it's mostly universally accepted in our society that any form of hate speech is wrong, to counterattack against violence and hate speech by using violence and hate speech is also unethical. By no means as a nation are we advocates for violence, domestic terrorism, or dehumanization of any sort.
As for creating a plan of action, we understand that the battle lies in finding a way to eliminate the gray area, spending less time assessing the personal character of those involved and more time assessing how we can achieve universal ethical applicability without dehumanizing and oppressing the backbone of this country, which are the people. Therefore, it is necessary to note that language is sometimes used to justify the unjustifiable and to make the decent the indecent. However, the issue with hate speech displays the tension between the right of freedom of speech and ethically responsible exercise of that right.
So in closing, we proclaim to the society at large that this is the communicator's responsibility to partake in non-judgmentalism and abandon communication that dehumanizes views of others and that reflects superiority. The Golden Rule states, "Do unto others as you would have done unto you." Thus, we would recommend teaching members of both parties about the effects of moral exclusion and avoid engaging in so-called justified human acts by claiming the actions committed by the adversary were significantly worse because this only creates a barrier in multicultural communication. It is time to call for peace and to learn how to show love, compassion, tolerance, and forgiveness, which is what Dalai Lama claims to be the qualities of the human spirit. Every person, no matter what color, has the human right to be happy.